Uh, I am a man. I would just like to say thank you for the overwhelming support on episode 13. It is by far my most supported episode. That right there is called a joke. Like, I don't expect this series to do well. I expect it. I don't expect anything out of this. But getting one view over, like, normally, like, the first 2 days are the most popular days of a video. Then after that, the video drops off and doesn't get too many more views. So after the first 2 days, one view is all it is. And that was me on my alt account. It's like, man, no one else watched it. Are people even gonna watch this one? Is suddenly the series just gonna die here? Once it finally got people, like 50 people watched 12. No one watched 13. That's just the way it is. Oh. I do just find it funny no one watched it. Will people watch it like after this video comes out? I don't know. Will people watch this video? I don't know. Man, no views is crazy. Anyway. Even if this episode gets no views as well, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, I'll still keep making them. Because, again, I'm not expecting views. I'm just hoping. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Talking about Warhammer recently in these episodes. Don't really have much to talk about today. Like, what was last week's? Last week was the Eldar and Drukhari, another vehicle detachment. And unlike the Custodes one, it doesn't have the interesting thing where you can turn a dreadnought into a character. Yippee. Well, I don't play Eldari anyway. And then, but then the Drukhari detachment was so much cooler. Half your army can be Harlequins, not just like a third or something like other armies where you can ally stuff in. Half your entire army can be Harlequins. And then you play a game and like the losers get a buff and you have to balance out what gets buffed and what doesn't get buffed. It's like depending on what you need. Like that detachment was cool. Also don't play Drukhari, so it doesn't affect me either. And unlike Eldari, there's no real Drukhari players at my locals. none that play the game. So I'm unlikely to see the detachment. But you know, still pretty cool. Also with the new balance changes, I realized something. It's not eight swords. That should last me a while. Yeah. It's not re-roll ones to wound with the new Space Marine upgrade. It's +1 to wound. That is so much better than re-roll ones. It's like a little bit too much better. I haven't played with it yet, but I'm like, I don't know, that seems a bit too good. Like, especially considering both Custodes and Necrons have detachments that give you +1 to wound as their whole mechanic. Like, and now we have just, and now just Space Marine does that as well as reroll hits. And those detachments don't really have like synergy where there's certain units that get bonuses when shooting their worthy foe or whatever. There's Space Marine stuff like Terminators that do get bonuses when they're shooting their Oath of Moment target. Because it's the army thing. And it's like, it kind of feels, it feels just a little bit, like, I'd play, Necron Phalanx. Like, now my Space Marines also have +1 to wound and reroll hits. It just makes my Phalanx feel a bit weak. And I don't really have the money to invest in a new detachment. The Phalanx is my detachment. Those are the units I have. I guess I could play Awakened. I'll probably just play Awakened. I've got a bit of Canoptic. I could play Canoptic Court. I used to play Canoptic Court, but I'll probably still play a Phalanx, to be honest. I'm not going to stop playing Phalanx just because Space Marines do it better now. But also, with my Space Marines, I play a lot of heavy intercessors. Not a lot of heavy intercessors. I play heavy intercessors. And yay, they get a stat boost. The stat boost, it looks really nice and I can't wait to play with it. My only problem is, the point increase. I'm going to change up my list. I haven't done that yet, and that's... But yeah, the heavy intercessor buffs do look fun. Also, the Infernus Marines getting a buff was probably very needed. Like, I've used Infernus Marines before, because I had them in use. Oh my god, there's so many zombies and I don't have any sword. Yeah. I guess it gives me a bit of flesh to heal if I need it. Yeah. The new... Ugh. Yeah. Also, they said they wanted to do stuff like spice up things and like giving the like faction specific characters like Lysander and Draven Strike or all those characters. Oh my god, getting cooked. Like that +1 to objective control to certain units is interesting, I guess. It's not the coolest thing. I can't eat with a spider chasing me. Oh my god, that is... Pick up some stuff. Alright. That's annoying, I'm pretty far out and I kind of walked backwards a bit too much there. The +1 objective control is just... not really just... I guess it helps, but it also wasn't very interesting. And like with my heavy intercessors, what do I have? It's the Iron Hands characters, except for I don't play Iron Hands. To get my +1 objective control to... Like, Iron Hands, and it's like, man... Maybe I should play some Iron Hands. Because, you know... I'm not gonna start playing Iron Hands just for that +1 objective control, but... Iron Hands was an Space Marine detachment I was looking at for... Like, I wouldn't mind playing them, but I'm not gonna play them because I've already invested in so much into Imperial Fist. Imperial Fist is my army. But I like the Iron Hands. Looking into their... Especially with their aesthetic and their lore, I love the mechanical part and the tragedy that they are. Yeah, but if I've had any more reasons to pick up Iron Hands, it's now that +1 objective control to my heavy intercessors. The only problem is my heavy intercessors are already painted yellow. And I'm not gonna... I may pick up the character to have the character, but I'm not painting up an entire Iron Hands army just because of that. But I guess if I ever become rich, highly unlikely. You know, branching out to a second Space Marine detachment, I'll probably pick up Iron Hands. Not because of that ability. That ability is a nice push in the right. I just like Iron Hands. Oh. There it is. Yeah. Just in more reasons. Yeah. was thinking about. Yeah, because of Leagues of Votan's minimal amount of lore and units to. I was thinking about what their new detachment during Promise could be, because it would be hard to base it off anything in the lore, because there isn't enough lore to base it off anything, and the bits of lore that we do have will probably go to the index, the codex. I mean, when the codex comes out, the main 5 leagues will all get a detachment. The current detachment being one of them. And like, out of those main 5, like one of them's focus on your big amounts of judge, so they could do a lot of judge tokens, but also they have a lot of judge bans, so berserkers could get buffed in them, and then so that puts that off the table as a potential detachment. And then another one's all about, you know, more advanced technology and having more half guard and stuff than everyone else. So a half guard detachment's off the table. That will probably include like Thunderkins and the mechanic as well. And then there's another detachment that's all about exploring. We'll have like the Jaegers and the Pioneers, so they're off the table. I'm like, alright, like what's left in the codex? Like we got infantry, we're gonna like warriors. A warriors detachment, a detachment that does something super interesting with like like judgment tokens or something, or are we just gonna get another vehicle detachment? Because I can see that, and I really don't want another vehicle detachment. I think vehicle detachments are so boring. Recently they've been playing a lot around with the power matrix, demon, shadow kind of ability in Grotmus, and I kind of don't want one of those either. It's like that's already been done multiple times now. And I've already got an army that can play around with that. So I fear for future Votan detachments. I fear it will be another shadow or vehicle. And like a warrior spam one doesn't seem too interesting either. Just a bunch of warriors. And they could do one I previously mentioned that I said would be in the codex, but then like what are they going to do for the codex if they do one of those? They said this wouldn't take up the spot of the codex detachments. Which seems a bit... Yeah. I'm not away from Votan though, we've got... With Chaos Space Marines, I like the Red Corsairs, and they no longer make the Huron Blackheart model. but it's still legal to play and it still has rules. So I'm wondering, like, when are we going to get an updated version of his model? Because he got a book a while ago, so he's still in the lore, and he has a detachment. They may not be the most popular Chaos Space Marines, but I like them, and Red Corsairs, and one of the Red... You know, I don't want Huron just to fade away into not existing. Come on, GW. Don't you forget about me. There's now a grass block up there because of that missing block that I think maybe an Enderman did. Because I don't remember breaking it, so now grass is going to grow all along the top. It'll be green, green, green. Green is what I see. Now that's a reference to one of the previous episodes. If you know. You know, but I doubt anyone will put the dots together and figure out how that connects to a previous episode. Because they're too lazy and not many people will watch this. Or any, as the previous episode showed me. Maybe no one will watch this, so no one will ever put it together. At least before I could say there was a very, very, very slim chance someone could put it together, but now I don't know. I seem even more crazy. I'm not just talking to myself, I'm extra talking to myself. Can monsters spawn on path like that? I'll have to check that out one day. But with that shovel break... I think... So therefore I am. And I am. So therefore I might end this episode. Thank you once again, audience. Audience. I don't have that, as we've learnt.